You don't understand that silencing somebody doesn't change their mind. It just gets rid of any sort of possibility that you understand what they're thinking. It could be a dangerous thing. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I'm not good at introductions, so we're just going to skip it. So, anyway, just like the title says, let's get right into it.
Okay, let's just jump right into this. You have dabbled in political commentary, which I don't think you should because I don't think you know much.
Okay, thank you. Wait, I just want to clarify real quick. Are you saying that because I'm a woman that I don't know much? Because that's really degrading and misogynistic. And if that is true, you're so cool.
No, I think it's because you, right? Whether you're a man or a woman.
Okay, me, I'm vile.
Sure.
Let's see.
Here, let's see.
This is the same guy who uses the kind of language he does to describe women?
Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I would rather have a crude, brutally honest man president that says honest things about women than a literal as my president, or even a woman. Like, she's not even just a woman that I don't want to be president, because I don't think any woman should ever have a leadership position. Not only is she a woman, but she is the in chief. Freak no.
Okay. Yeah, that's I think politics are kind of like a horseshoe where you get like both crazies on both sides. These people, both of these kids are like that. We've got over here, we've got boy girl, and then we've got over here Westboro Baptist bitch. So this is going to be interesting because both of them have some pretty extreme views on things. Yeah, anyway, she's used quite a few choice words.
Yeah, I mean, go off, queen. I mean, seriously, she literally, it's known that she got ahead by giving head. Like, she
It's
literally...
not. That's not. It's not.
Okay.
How do you think she got elected?
How do I think she got
how many I'm not going to quiz you, actually. She got elected to DA, then to Attorney General, then to Senator, then to Vice President.
I know. There are stories, though, there were people, a guy, I don't know his name.
You're talking about Willie Brown. I know what
Yes,
you're talking
Willie
about,
Brown.
and you're wrong about it.
Okay. All right.
Her having a relationship before she got into politics is a ridiculous thing to say, is the reason she went up to be one of the most successful elected officials in the history of the country.
All right.
How can that be so far-fetched to believe when it happens all the time? I mean, anyway.
Well, she became the vice president probably because she is an establishment shill. I mean, I don't know exactly why she became vice president herself, but there is a stereotype around her. There's like these jokes around her.
Because of y'all. You're the one.
We all knew why she got put there. Nobody liked her, but she was the only female that had any sort of mix. We already know it's identity politics. I mean, this kid's probably going to try to explain away from it, but come on.
Ones who perpetuate it.
Because of me?
People like you.
Where did it come from? Like, where did it originate from?
Because they're thinking, it can't be possible that a woman could be this successful. We're going to go dive into her history and say because she dated someone who had some, notoriety back.
No, it's that politicians, they do that shit all the time to each other. That's normal. They did the same thing to Trump. It doesn't matter who it is. They always go after somebody's history.
Before she ran for office. Now, all the elections that she was lawfully elected to, or all that she won the elections lawfully, now don't count.
All right, I see what you're saying, and I wish I knew the exact story behind it, and I just kind of like say this thing because it's funny, but there is some proof on this. I can't. Now I look stupid. Congrats. But no one said this about Hillary Clinton.
I didn't do that to you. You did it to yourself.
All granted, I'm a stupid woman. Women aren't smart, guys. Newsflash, breaking news, we aren't smart. Let's be real, because women, I don't even know what I want. I'm so indecisive. As women, we're indecisive. That's why I love having a husband to make all my decisions for me, and I don't have to deal with but what if I did this, and that would be better, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's how my mind works, and that's why we should never listen to women. Boom, mic drop. If I were to ever run for office, but wait, hold up. I want to point this out. I do.
Yeah, it's like that's like I said, the horseshoe thing. It goes from one extreme to the other. There's a reason why men and women's brains are differently and why they come together to make better decisions. Because there's a lot of things that guys don't think about either that women intuitively just know. So you need them both equally. It's just funny how there's always got to be either this or that. Anyway.
Do not think that a woman should ever be a politician, be a leader, be president, whatever. But in this little hypothetical scenario, if I were to ever run, my slogan would be never listen to a woman.
Have you ever considered that you're
That would be,
projecting,
self-deprecating,
and
I think.
instead of putting your lack of critical thinking skills onto women, you should just blame yourself for it.
I mean, perhaps, but I know for myself, like you said, I'm projecting that. I mean, think about the women in your life. They're not indecisive. They're not they're not
No.
emotional. They're not.
As I told you before, my mother is one of the people I admire most in the world for, yes, her ability to love her children, all those beautiful things, and also what she's built, the organization that she's been working to help needy children.
And yes, there are women that are building things. Like, I don't think
Yeah, we can definitely tell. Dude, you're quite emotional yourself.
I should talk about this because I don't want to get my mom involved in things, but my mom too has built a really successful nonprofit organization. Women can do this, but by and large, there are stereotypes. Like, men are better decision makers. They're natural
who
leaders.
perpetuates those stereotypes, Isabella?
The stats. The stats.
The stats.
People know that women are more emotional thinkers. Like, that's not
Even-
that's not like, are you saying that's not true? You don't think women are more emotional? Look at me. I'm being emotional.
Even what you mentioned, again,
Yeah, they are emotional thinkers. It's just the way it goes. Women go with what rhymes, and men go with reason. It's not to say that one can be over the other, or one can be right and one can be wrong, but that's exactly the reason why I said that we both need each other's minds to work together. There shouldn't be one or the other.
you did it again.
I
So
projected.
blame yourself.
You don't think women are more emotional?
I don't even
Well,
know
who is more
how we would
emotional,
describe
your mom or your
emotional.
dad?
What type of emotions?
Like,
Because even to your point, the stereotype is that men get more angry. That's an emotion.
yes, I totally agree with you, but look
So
at
they're
this.
just as emotional, just different emotions come out, and people also break the stereotypes.
Women were so swayed by this emotional argument. Oh my gosh, abortion, the number one issue for women, the right to kill their own babies. But the Democratic Party has so framed it in the way, these evil white men are going to control your bodies. You can't have this girl, stand up.
White
and now because women are so like easily swayed by their emotions, now they're just like, women, Kamala, we can't have our bodies, our bodily autonomy
Will
taken
y'all
away from us.
ever,
Which is kind of funny because they went from, oh, we need to have our abortion rights, to, oh, we need to protect our body autonomy, so we're not going to have sex anymore. We're going to go on a sex strike. I'll kind of let you put those thoughts together yourself, because it seems to me like the problem just got solved right then. Kind of showing that women have a little bit more control over their sexual decisions than they want to. Anyway.
pronounce her name correctly, but that's okay. I
What,
don't want to talk about
Kamswala?
that.
I don't know.
It's crazy you would say
Wow.
the people supporting Vice President Harris, such as myself, it was all just emotions, right? Because of your disagreement with them on reproductive
That's not what I'm saying,
rights.
though.
But when a bunch of Trump supporters vote for Trump because they feel like a trans person is going to inflict pain on them somehow, even though they never interact with one, because they feel
No, that's not it at all. That's just some left-wing rhetoric bullshit. We don't give a shit what you believe. We just don't want it in the sports, and we don't want it in the bathrooms. Like, keep the sexual stuff, like, PG, please. I mean, that's literally all we're asking for. Well, I don't know. Maybe not all of us. And I shouldn't say all of us, because I'm definitely not on the right on a lot of ways, and I guess you'll see here soon.
like scary people.
That's hilarious. It's not that
because
they're-
Hannibal Lecter's coming across
No.
the border. Those are just people being, oh, I'm scared.
No.
Fear is also an emotion, and Trump's entire platform is a fear-based one. You know that too. You know
No.
it. You're thinking,
No.
damn it, I can't.
No,
I
No,
can't
no. If
defend
you actually
that.
let me say something, no, it's not that people and these men and these Republican voters are so afraid of trans people. No, they don't want trans like men going into their.
They
Can I finish a
are
point?
driven
Men,
by fear. You know
No.
that.
You're not letting me finish a point.
People in
it's very
Minnesota
typical. He's
are
silencing a woman, guys. This
afraid.
is so misogynistic. You're true female leader here. Yeah.
You,
no, let
given
me
your
finish.
views, don't get to accuse anyone of misogyny, okay?
I know I'm doing it as a joke because I don't really
know.
care if anyone's misogynistic. But anyways, I don't even like saying the word. I can barely pronounce it myself. It's
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's definitely. Ooh. But he could. Yeah. Anyway.
not that they're afraid of them. They want to protect their daughters. They want their daughters to be able to go into a bathroom and not have to worry about a man there. Even if they're not going to attack me. I don't want a guy in the bathroom with me. I'm trying to go to the bathroom. That's awkward. Can I have that privacy? Can we say that men and women are different and can have different bathrooms? And fine, if you want to have a freaking gay, freaking rainbow alphabet mafia bathroom for the queers, have your freaking bathroom, but I don't want any part of it.
People always do this when they try to advocate on behalf of the views that you are, which is completely omitting things that contradict their argument. Like, yeah, we all have emotions and that impacts us. The reason why Trump won is because of emotions from your side.
I really don't think that's why Trump won. I think that Trump won because people wanted
People
low.
think prices were high because of Biden and Harris. When we brought down inflation faster than all of our Western world counterparts, we've dealt with the recovery way better. The data show that, but people can't.
Okay, so that, to be fair, the recovery and all that stuff being better, that was literally because it happened at the last year of Trump's presidency. And the recovery was literally during the Biden presidency. Had nothing to do with either president, didn't have anything to do with government at all. It just happened to do with time. Let's be honest. They both kind of vouched for the Fauci ouchie, and it ended up coming back with a lot of different problematic situations. So, but we may get into that in another video.
Interact with that data, unfortunately, and so they have real pain in their lives, understandably, and they blame that on the incumbent party because that's a simpler explanation than the one that is correct.
No, I mean,
feelings over facts for a lot of people.
No, I mean, honestly, this is what every like. I'm not even saying just about like Biden Harris. Every like presidential like new administration always blames bad things on the previous administration. That's always what happens. Like they were telling women, look at how the women responded after Trump won.
Vice President Harris's big argument was hope. We have a brighter future.
Hope. I'm just kidding. Look at how women responded, recording themselves, literally screaming to the camera, crying, shaving their heads now. They are now shaving their heads. Talk about these women. I actually feel somewhat bad for them. They are so brainwashed and built off
you
of
know what? I will say, I'd rather, even though I don't think people can do whatever they want, they can shave their head if they'd like to.
Okay.
Even though I'm not encouraging people to do that, I'd rather be on the side that shaves their head when they lose an election instead of the side that storms the Capitol when they lose an election.
Oh my gosh, I had nothing to do with January 6th. I don't care about January 6th. There are people.
Okay, so January 6th, January 6th, January 6th, they talk about that all the time. I've seen both sides. Yes, it was ugly. No, they should have never done it. It's mob mentality. Like we've said before, the mob as a group are retarded. People are retarded, especially in large groups. So they do a lot of stupid stuff. But there were also cops that allowed people to come in, and there was a lot of footage showing that cops were letting them tour the place and having a good time, and there wasn't any violence going on. The media played a lot of violent areas so there was a lot of this and that. So no, it wasn't right. But he's leaving out the summer of love before then, and he's also leaving out a lot of the other things that Biden administration kept saying about the Republicans before the election. How they need to get in their face and they need to make a fight. There's video all over it, and let me know in the comments if you want me to back this stuff up with another video. I will be more than happy to do so.
Well, the cops,
you don't care when presidents try to overturn elections?
He was not trying to do
what
that.
What about the fake elector scheme? You don't know what that is. It's fine.
Anyway, I don't know what that is, but no, I mean
the
Capitol
biggest
Police.
moment in American history, in modern American history.
Okay, the Capitol Police allowed people to go in the Capitol. They were bad.
Do you know why?
Why?
What you're talking about is whenever you're overwhelmed as a police officer, you don't have enough police officers. The only thing you can do is to back off.
They were opening the doors and saying, "Come on in."
Wrong. But
okay.
Let me be blunt, guys. If Trump does end up winning, if they actually allow him to win and they don't steal another election, quite literally all hell is about to break loose. You think the riots in 2020 were bad? Yeah, well, just wait till 2024.
I mean, there's not technically riots right now, but...
Yeah, that's doing the same exact thing that the left was doing, and it's not right. Don't try to incite something like that just because you don't get your way. It's exactly why we have that democratic system of voting. Whether you feel that the Electoral College should be there or not, regardless, we have it right now. It's working, obviously, so, yeah.
You see women literally shaving their heads and crying online. I know that's not riots, but I do feel like people are freaking pissed off.
If MAGA had shaved their heads and cried and said, we're not going to have sex with you anymore, whenever Trump lost, instead of creating an entire fake world to live in where Trump actually won and they're the biggest victims ever, I'd be much less annoyed with them. But one of the things you do a lot of...
Sure, bro. Well, yeah. Well, you can't really prove that because it didn't happen. So, anyway.
We talked about this before we started, is you will retweet Nick Fuentes, even if you're saying, I don't know exactly what it is that he believes. I'm pretty sure he said he's a neo-Nazi.
Has he said that? I haven't
Or
seen
he
that.
at least is proudly a white supremacist.
Yeah,
He
Well, I
definitely
mean,
Need
has he
respect
said that, or did
man.
like the?
So,
That's
well,
quite
I know
a point.
he admits he thinks white people are better and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're gonna
Yeah, I don't
signal
believe
boost that, associate yourself with it, and you're. I've seen in your social media feed just anti-Semitic things. Would you agree what we describe as anti-Semitic? You've represented it in your Twitter activity.
What's your definition of anti-Semitic?
It's pretty complicated, but anti-Jewish generally.
It's not complicated.
I'm not necessarily anti-Jewish. I just like make jokes about it.
So my point is, that's the justification that I've heard from a lot of people who go way across the line. I think should be within our normal political discussions,
What are you talking about way across the line?
but that actually plays into the normalizing of it. That's what Nick Fuentes does. He jokes, this is funny, and then he actually believes these really harmful things.
It's how jokes work. People get offended. People think it's funny. There's a little bit of truth behind it. It's humor. You can't police that. Once you police that, it's game over, bro. You don't understand that silencing somebody doesn't change their mind. It just gets rid of any sort of possibility that you understand what they're thinking. And it could be a dangerous thing.
And that's how you get really disgusting views normalized.
Right, but I'm
Disgusting is so subjective. Sorry.
sorry, but I'm not gonna like let anyone tell me what I'm allowed to find funny and what not. Like comedy is a thing, and I have dark humor. I like to make offensive jokes. I think those are funny. If you don't like it, don't see it. Do we have to send all of our money to Israel? Like, why can't we be America first? I don't even want
All
to
of our
send
money.
a lot of our
We
money
have a
to
lot of
Israel
money
and Gaykrane,
here.
also known as Ukraine. It's like I don't even want like my money being sent to
No.
any.
Now, and I'll show you in this little clip here. This is the reason why they want Ukraine, both Russia and America. Well, NATO, basically. This is exactly why, right here. All of this. So, it's not Gaykrane, but it's also not been something that's been new by any means. They've been doing a lot of dealings there in Ukraine. It's been a long time coming. This is nothing new.
country. I want it
Did
to
you
be
just say-
America. America
did you-
first.
Did you just call?
Gaykrane.
Did you
Yeah.
just call Ukraine gay crane?
Yeah, it's just like it's just ingrained in my vocabulary.
Okay.
My
You
very
say, "Oh,
extensive
I take
vocabulary.
everything too seriously.
Yeah, you do.
What you're talking about, you know what I'm about to say,
I actually don't.
is a country that's been invaded and a bunch of their citizens slaughtered. And you're thinking, gay.
That's kind of funny the way you just said that. That was actually good. Good job being funny for once. No, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't like seeing innocent people dying, but I also don't think that's our job to send our money there. We have people that need help here, if anything, first over these other countries.
What? First of all, there's no way I'm going to be able to explain to you the importance of supporting Ukraine in this situation.
Are you
if we
serious?
couldn't talk about the fake electric scheme.
Oh my gosh.
But our global adversary thinking it's acceptable for them to take over other countries, destabilize Europe and the world. If we say, we're not going to do anything, you take over Ukraine, they then are, number one, violating the sovereignty of one of our allies. But also, if we give them 20% like Trump wants to do of the country, or 30%, 40%, Putin wants to go further and further. The only way it's going to stop, like his other invasions that we didn't take seriously enough, is going to be if we force him into failure.
He obviously doesn't know all the regime changes that have happened because of America's dealings. CIA was in charge of a lot of different regime changes in the past. Why he thinks now like it's just like a conspiracy theory is... Anyway.
But again, I'm sure you'll just say, nah.
I mean, I'm just like not a like geopolitical
Yeah,
expert.
there we go.
I'm
So
just
don't
being-
call Ukraine gay then.
I'm just having fun here. And they had a lot of trans people there, like with gay flags. And look at, what was his name? Vladimir Zelensky? Wasn't he like dancing in high heels? Was that true? I don't even know if
What do you
that
think
was
his
real.
last name is?
No, like what was his name? Like Zelensky. Zelensky, right. It's been a long time with two Y's at the end, which always was like, why is there two Y's at the end? Yeah. Zelensky, leader of Gaykrane. If I say these things, like why is it so like concerning?
Well, you understand the English language.
just
We
because it might
need
have
to
been a little
use
too
different
soon, but, you know.
terms to
Humor's subjective.
convey different ideas, right?
You want to police speech, is what you're saying.
No, actually, your guy wants to do that. He said
my
that
guy.
the government should come down hard on MSNBC. Trump did.
I don't agree with Trump thinking that he should people should crack down on MSNBC and their BS. We all know it's BS. Anybody with any sort of brain knows that MSNBC is completely biased, and all of their articles will reflect that. Uh, yeah, you shouldn't silence any of that. It's
censoring meter just because
Right.
I didn't even vote for him, guys. I didn't vote. I don't think women should vote.
But you
just 'cause-
support that your husband did?
Yeah, but I said
Yeah.
this. I don't agree with every single thing that Trump has done. He's too
But
lax on abortion.
It's not about policing speech. Your free speech rights make you able to say all those things that I find disgusting. My free speech right says that I can call you out for it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So then I'm just saying that I think we could use the English language best whenever it doesn't seem like you want to stand by the hateful rhetoric, but instead just sort of wave it all away as jokes. And I'm
that's how communication works, bro. You can't police that.
just saying, I don't think most people find a lot of the usage of the F slur or the N word as giggly funny.
I think there's people that do, and it obviously has worked on social media. And listen, it's not that, because you say I'm like trying to fall back and just be lukewarm on it, like, oh, it's just a joke. But at the end of the day, when I say these like aggressive, like one-liners or whatever, I am joking in my being aggressiveness, but I do believe in the Bible that homosexuality is a sin.
We see this with a lot of new MAGA.
The Bible's fake. It's always been fake. Always will be fake. It's just a biological thing, just like anything else in life. Some brains, I mean, I'm just going to be straight here. Some brains don't develop the same way. Shocker.
Comedians, you have to be funny to be funny. It's not just doing things that are societally determined to be offensive, just like overtly do. That's not funny. That's just
To
crazy.
you.
No,
To
to
you.
most people, it's not.
Well, let me just, this is kind of a,
Be funny. Think of a funny thing to say, not just ha F slur.
yeah, the thing
That's just like a baby's version of funny.
I get what you're saying, but the thing that makes it funny is because you really can't say these things. It's like, it
You
reminds me.
can. You're saying it, and we're like,
I know,
what the hell's their
but
deal?
you get canceled and things, like you get in trouble for saying things like
Because
this.
other people go, okay, now you've shown me a view that you have, and I don't like associating with people with those views.
Right, but it's
Yeah.
like,
Because I
wow.
believe, like Jesus did, that
That's
we should.
purely the reason why you shouldn't stifle freedom of speech. Because if they can't say it, or it's illegal for them to say it, you have no idea what's going to happen or what's going on. It just, it opens so many things that are bad.
Should be loving and compassionate.
Okay. Literally, when I first started out doing social media, I said, I just want to shock people and piss people off and confuse people. It's funny. I like trolling. That's what I like to do. And that's literally it.
Okay, you just like seeing people outraged. That's weird.
Yes,
That's just
it's
strange.
so fun. It's so funny. It is so funny.
Some people just have a weird sense of humor. I don't. I have a dark sense of humor. I understand, but I don't know her at all. So I don't know where her. Just judging by some of the things she said, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me who she is, because I don't care enough to know.
It's just a weird obsession to have.
I think it's a weird obsession that you think it's a weird obsession of mine.
Wouldn't
it's just
you-
funny.
okay.
It's that simple. We have different senses of humor. I have one and you don't.
But you do agree that on some of the stuff you say,
That's cool.
you're talking about topics that are connected to super consequential things, like toying around to be silly with anti-Semitism. You know how anti-Semitism can be used for horrors of history, right?
Are you really saying that like Jew jokes are going to lead to another Holocaust?
Normalizing
Yes or no?
even hateful jokes about people,
Yes
yeah,
or no?
yeah,
Really?
is not necessarily going to lead to what happened
So
in
then
Nazi
if you
Germany.
think that's true, then why don't you think that you guys should censor speech? If you really think that making Jew jokes will lead to
No,
another
no.
Holocaust, why wouldn't you censor speech?
If you can't engage with
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like, it's funny how the left side, like, the only acceptable jokes are things that are directed towards white people. So he's being very selective, in my opinion. But she's not exactly right either.
what I'm saying, we're gonna have a tough time
well,
with this conversation.
I think that's a really easy point. Like,
I'm not saying that making a joke leads to a Holocaust, but you understand that I only cite that to give you the fullest, the most extreme example of what being fast and loose, not with things that should be censored, but just with what we are supportive and socially incentivize in our rhetoric. Rhetoric can actually do a lot of damage, even if it's tongue in cheek.
All right, so then shouldn't you think we should be censoring rhetoric if you think it could do a lot of damage?
No, I think we should be doing this. I should
Really?
be explaining to people why they shouldn't.
I actually think Republicans should embrace this. You know, I'm so sick of Republicans trying to shimmy away and shy away from the whole narrative that we're white Christian nationalists. No, that's what the Republican Party should be. We should try to go back to our traditional roots. America is a white Christian nation, and it's okay that we want to maintain that nation. We want to maintain.
No. We were meant to be a melting pot of all types of different cultures. That was the whole point of all men created equal. You know, the idea that we had freedom. You can't be selective on the freedoms. Either you have freedom or you don't. There shouldn't be any gray areas on that.
What the country was founded on. Let's embrace this. Let's stop letting the left attack us.
I feel like you just sort of you just walk into the Twitter world in a little right-wing bubble, look around for like 2 seconds, and then walk out and start saying those things, having no understanding of what you're talking about. Are you actually saying we should advocate for a white country?
So what you just said is kind of true. Like, I do kind of do that. But here, I do think that we should be having, like, at least a Christian nation. Like, we should be having that sort of ideology.
Like in our, like, governmentally enforced? Or just you think people should be Christian? You'll just request and that's it?
It's tough because before becoming a Christian, I honestly was an anarchist. So this is something that I could kind of like go back and forth.
You see what I mean? You're
my
just
husband.
all over the place.
You know
so
what?
then
I'm a woman.
You put it on the internet.
No,
You're you.
subjective.
You put it on the internet, and now it's there forever. It represents you. You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even believe this stuff.
Let's talk
That's
about
terrible.
the white part. Okay, I don't think that you can only be white to be in America, but we are like importing all these different cultures and having so much immigration happening, and it just when you have all the cultures mixed, there's no culture. You can't go to Italy and it's just Italy. You can't go to.
You understand that America, the reason
it's
why
a
it
melting
became
pot.
The biggest reason is the huge influx, and we can argue who and what's at fault. But the point is, there's all kinds of immigration that's flooding the country, and it's become such an influx has become an issue, and that's really the only issue. We should be totally with open arms on bringing new people into our country and be ecstatic for all the new changes in culture and ways of living, because you can't grow unless you're learning from other people that are different from you, in my opinion. But there are checks and balances that should be made so that way we can keep things balanced, so that way they also don't end up drowning as well with us. So it shouldn't have anything to do with like it should be either this or that or the other. There should be an equal balance of fairness. These people that are trying to find a new place to stay, a new place to live, they're trying to run away from their countries, they can seek shelter at the next country. They don't have to go straight to America. And I feel like that's what the right is usually trying to push, but I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure, use that phrase.
Were you gonna?
I wasn't going to use that phrase, but I was going to convey that point, which is that a part of the reason why America has become what it is, not just dominant militarily, economically, but also culturally dominant on the world stage, and like in terms of the way that we're relevant, worldwide music and all these different things, and economically so prosperous, is because of the benefits of people who are believing in the American dream, coming here and making something of themselves, of different cultures, of different backgrounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
For sure.
okay. Like your point that's like why America's great.
One of the reasons we're great is because
And it was also like very
part
Christian
of the
in the
American
beginning.
dream is
go
just
again with the Christians.
immigrant based.
Is that really like what you think the American dream
We
is?
immigrated here,
Yeah.
and then we were
I think
like,
what made
hey,
America great was that it was a Christian nation. We had freedom of
we were
speech,
never.
freedom of
Why would our founders specifically put in the Constitution
Yeah.
that we won't?
right, the separation
Enforce.
of church and state, but they still like
To her, I hate seeming like I'm always on her defense. On the dollar bill, it does say "In God We Trust." The Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God. Anyway,
had very Christian
We
foundations
still should
and free
keep it
speech,
separated.
like freedom of expression. These things are being taken
Freedom of
away from us right
religion.
now.
Yeah.
No, I know, but a lot of them were Christian and they had
being
these
taken
specific
away from
values.
you right now.
Their rights are from God. That's a Christian idea. Your rights are from God, not the government.
They didn't specify which God, but yeah.
Okay.
And I agree. A lot of Christians were a part of the founding. That doesn't take away from us supporting people's ability to exercise any religion. And as we become more and more globally dominant, to my previous point, we've benefited from our diversity.
My point is I don't think it's immigrants coming to America that makes America great. I think it was
No, it's the idea of America, and nothing's more American than coming here legally, of course. Everyone believes that.
Okay.
And pursuing that dream,
Yeah.
making something of yourself. And then we blend with all these different unique backgrounds, which is a part of why we're as innovative as we are and economically successful as we are.
Yeah, nothing's more American than having a bunch of people come into the country, and now we have Espanol all over the country. Like everything's in Spanish and English. You can't even call like a phone operator or whatever for any company without it. Press 1 for English. For press
Yeah,
2 for
but anything like that would take time, and there's not really no standard to live by because we're the ones pioneering all this shit. And give us some time, like she's expecting like perfection all at once, like perfect or kill it. Like, come on.
for this. It's like that's not really American. Like, can we have like? I mean, obviously English is the national language, but I mean, come on, we're importing cultures, and now we have to import their languages too, and have it like, you know how pissed I was growing up that I was forced to learn Spanish, and I still only know like hola
Why?
and like uno, dos, tres.
Yeah, that makes.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
it's annoying.
Yeah. I'm
But
completely wrong.
separate from what you think should be done with languages,
Okay, immigrants come in and take American jobs,
yeah,
and then people like you. will
lawful immigration is very economically stimulating
why?
because as more people here are working, producing value, the economy grows, and then more people can.
Not to mention, most people their generation are not having kids right now, so we could essentially come into a population collapse before too long. So yes, immigration is definitely needed.
Have jobs, more people can make money.
And they're taking the jobs, and what's funny,
They're
I'm not
not
saying
taking the
Taking
job.
what's funny about people on the left, I won't say you because I don't know if you've said this, but they're like, these immigrants are doing the jobs that no American wants to do. They are scrubbing the toilets. They are like they're saying all these things, and it's actually super racist to say that they're just taking the like
It's
the worst
not as
of the,
racist as saying we should be a white country.
I didn't say that we should necessarily be
equal.
only
What do you think white
white.
nationalism is that you just said we should lean into?
I said white Christian nation.
Same thing.
First word. Just you can just say I don't believe that.
I don't necessarily believe.
Okay.
I said that I don't think it should only be white people.
I just think a little longer before you go, this Nazi stuff is interesting.
I'm not saying
Oh,
pro-Nazi
shit.
stuff.
He brought
What do
up
you
the
think that
Nazis.
is? What do you think that leads to? How are you going to create a white country? Exactly.
On a show with my favorite
Okay, but stifling free speech and doing some of the things that the left are doing is equally. Anyway.
orange woman, my favorite based orange woman.
Thank you so much. I'm orange like Daddy Trump. We love Trump. And speaking of Trump. Yes.
I love
Speaking of Trump, I always see, so there's a couple things I see you leading the charge with on Twitter. One of them being Trump versus DeSantis, and I see you just exposing DeSantis all the time. The other thing is Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we'll get to that slut in a second. However, let's start with Ron DeSantis versus Trump. So why should conservatives be pro-Trump for 2024?
Why do you support him? Because you just a second ago sort of avoided saying, well, it's more Josiah would know. But you're the one out there saying that you love him.
Yeah, I would say then I probably liked him more than I do now, but still at the end of the day, like one of my favorite things about Trump was he was kind of normalizing
Hatred.
hatred. Just free speech again. We can make jokes. It's not that big of a deal. Like
No
stop.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with especially like some of the things about like Taylor Swift or whatever and all that other. He's very much a child in a lot of ways, and I don't respect that part of him. Yeah, he's not wrong there by any means.
Say, do you know what free speech means? It means the government can't infringe on your right. True. That doesn't mean I can't say that's a bad thing to say.
But even it's not even just the government. It's like culturally. Like we can't say these specific
But
words.
again, you're infringing on my free speech by saying that I shouldn't be telling you that what you're saying is bad.
I said
My
you
free
can't tell
speech-
me that.
Right. So then stop making a free speech issue. You
I'm
just don't
just-
like that people are mad at you for saying stuff. Okay.
I don't like-
You seem to
Dude,
have
you're
just
literally doing the same thing. Don't be a hypocrite, bro.
an insatiable need to get attention, even though this isn't working that well on
Yeah.
Twitter. And you then cross lines that I think later in your life you're not going to be proud of crossing.
Yeah, so yes, that is true. That is true. I tend to just go on there. I like the outrage. I think it's funny, and then later on or like the next day I'm like, "Oh, why did I post that?" Or my husband will be like, "Isabella, like what is wrong with you? Like delete that. That's so stupid." So, like I said before, like my husband has told me like you should go on there, research things, like write a thread, but I'm just kind of, get on, pop out. And yeah, so I'll grant you that for sure.
Well, I think it's a better place to leave it than any.
Yeah, my husband had to remind me, Isabella, you should concede a little bit.
Yeah.
Oof. Well, that was rough for both sides. But hope you enjoyed the video today. Leave a like, comment, and help me share this so that way other people can see this channel. It would help me a lot. Appreciate it, and talk soon.